one of the biggest realizations when you are going through the dark night of the soul or a fundamental existential crisis is the fact that truth is the only way. And if you think about it, and if you think about the times that we are living in, it takes on a different meaning. Because today, in the era of AI, in the era of deepfakes, I believe that more and more people are appreciating something that is authentic, something that is real, maybe something that is not so perfect, but still real. It hasn't been generated by any, like artificial stuff. So I think that we may be getting fed up with everything artificial. And, like on a personal level, I also think that many of us, actually more and more people, are reaching this point where they can't really lie to themselves anymore. They can't pretend that the life that they're living is not theirs anymore. Maybe it's never been theirs. And, this era of AI and deepfakes can highlight this even more, because when it's so difficult to tell the difference between what is real and what is not, at some point we may be like, that's just too much. We just don't want that anymore. We just want, like a normal world where you can simply live in truth. And maybe on some level I'm thinking that it's very interrelated, and actually the fact that whatever is going on with AI, and one of the biggest problems is the fact that it's not really regulated and it can wreak havoc in our lives. So I think that it can add some extra motivation to basically inspect your life and pinpoint the areas where you're lying to yourself. And this may not be easy because, sometimes it's very difficult for us to admit that we've been lying to ourselves. And when we do admit that something is off, we need to do something about it. Maybe we need to change our habits, for instance. And we all know that old habits die hard. But the thing is that in modern times, some habits need to die. And that's why so many people are either going through the dark night of the soul, or they will be going through the dark night of the soul. And I believe that this phenomenon, if you will be on the rise. But if you think about it, it's a good thing, because we've been living actually in a fake world. But I think that we've managed to fool ourselves in a way that actually is normal reality. So, for example, if you're working in a corporate environment, everybody is wearing masks, right? You can't be yourself, but why not really? And I'm not talking about normal corporate environments, because yes, there are rules, there is office politics and so on. But basically, why do we agree to such a world? Do we want to work at such workplaces? Well, some of us, yes, we do. But there are so many of us who never signed up to that, and somehow we just ended up in this reality. And I do believe that we are waking up to this. And it was actually Jesus who said, "I am the light, I am the way, I am the truth." And I can't think of anything else that could be so valid, like today, being the light, being the way, and being the truth. And truth is so important, like truth. And even though the postmodern world, if you will, has become so confusing, really. Everybody has their own truths, and it's very difficult to tell whether black is white, or maybe black is grey, or maybe it's pink. But no, black is black and white is white. And basically we just need to go back to the basics. And the AI and all those deep fakes can help us reach that point, because we will be so fed up with things that are artificial this, artificial that at some point we'll be like, no, I just want simple life. I want to see clearly something that is real, something that is tangible. It may not be perfect, but basically I'm done with the artificial world. And the funny thing is that artificial intelligence can be such an amazing tool serving humans, serving humanity. But the problem is that, unfortunately, the so-called beings in power, or the people in power, I'm not really sure whether they want to use it that way, because technology should never replace humans. It should enhance our way of life. But if we want real change, we need to stand for the truth, and we need to stand with ourselves, really. It was Gandhi who said, be the change you want to see in the world. Or, you may know the song The Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson, who sang, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. So basically, if we do want to see the actual change in the world, we need to start with ourselves. And for so many of us, it means that we do need to go through the dark night of the soul. If we want to stand for the truth, we need to see clearly where we were lying to ourselves. And it's not going to be comfortable, because also you will see all those beliefs, all those systems that you bought into, and you thought that, they were normal, and suddenly you're like, oh my God, I was such a fool to think that it was actually normal. And I think that the majority of us, probably all of us, have bought into, some weird stuff. And now it's just coming out, it's coming to the surface. And it's not easy. And this is something that I've been going through for the last 2 to 3 years. And I'm like, it was much more comfortable to be in this ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, right? Maybe for a bit, but basically, if we want to lead authentic lives, if we choose, being our happiest, best self, basically we need to say goodbye to lies and half-truths. And it can be very painful. Sometimes it can feel like agony. But I do believe that truth is the only way, and truth will set you free. It was also Jesus who said that only truth will set you free. Only truth will liberate you. And the dark night of the soul, I believe, is for that. To understand where you've been lying to yourself. The dark night of the soul will show you your shadow, the dark side of you, but at the same time, what this darkness is hiding is your light. Something that you've also been hiding from yourself, because I do believe, and I feel this deep in my heart, that each and every one of us is here to do something specific. It doesn't have to be epic or whatever, because sometimes we just think that we should be this or that, or we have those ideas, and it can keep us stuck. And this is something that I'm probably dealing with it myself. But basically, sometimes our mission is, it's actually a big word, and it can give us a lot of confusion. But basically, I do believe that each and every one of us came here to do something that is our own individual pathway. Maybe you came here to walk dogs. Maybe you came here to be a political leader that will change everything, who knows? Maybe you're here to be a singer, or maybe you're here to be a teacher, or a violinist, or I don't know, whoever you would like to be. So we all have our little functions, or our big functions, however you want to call it. But that's the thing, we should understand that the way to discover this is to be truthful to ourselves. And that's the blessing behind the dark night of the soul. I am the light, I am the way, I am the truth. Truth will set you free. Yes, it can be very painful, even agonizing. You may feel that your old self is dying because it feels very real, but if you're going to set your spirit free, if you're going to feel free and, can there be anything better? I don't think so. I think that the ability, creating a reality in which you can be yourself, in which you can be authentic, it's probably the easiest path. That doesn't mean that you don't have to make an effort. Of course, everything that is worth anything is actually, it requires effort and very often hard work. But just imagine if it makes sense for you, if that's your pathway. Will it feel so hard? Probably not. You will feel compelled to do that because if it makes sense for you, it's probably the easiest thing to do, even if it requires you to do some things that maybe are not so comfortable, are not so simple. Yeah, so truth is the way. Truth is the way. Truth is the only way. So yes, this is it. I wish you all the best, and until next time.